Here are 8 actions that the wealthy never take, but the impoverished always do. Hello again, and welcome to a new video. We are aware that a good number of you are making progress toward obtaining financial prosperity. So we decided to compile a list of the habits of the poor that ensure their status in life will never rise above average. Please don't take any of this too seriously. Rather, use it to stimulate reflection on your current condition and consideration of steps you may take to improve. The issue is, every time we make a video similar to this one, there will inevitably be some viewers who find it offensive. Folks who sincerely want to improve themselves should write these down and examine their own lives to determine whether or not there is room for development in those areas. While you are busy criticizing us in the comment section, you should be looking inward to determine whether or not you have room for development. 8 habits of the impoverished that the wealthy avoid. 1. Persons in poverty tend to purchase discounted goods or clothing. I'll put it like this. Stocks are the only asset you should consider purchasing when they are discounted. The wealthy are concerned with expanding their wealth, whereas the impoverished are trying to make what little they have last as long as possible. Simply put some thought into it. Clothing that ends up on sale is typically items that were passed over by those with the financial means to buy at full price. When you purchase clothing on sale, you are merely ensuring that you appear to be someone who cannot afford to purchase something at full price. Second, low-income individuals tend to spend a lot of time in front of the TV. For the sake of clarity, let me phrase it this way. Reality television viewers are typically underprivileged. It never ceases to amaze me how much time individuals with low incomes spend in front of the television watching pointless shows. It's a serious time waster that won't let go of your attention until you deal with it. The only people who benefit from celebrity news and rumors are the celebrities themselves. It is more desirable for the wealthy to appear on television than to actually watch it. As opposed to confronting and solving your issues, you avoid them. You'll rarely find a situation in which the time you spend wasting is actually rewarding. If you give it some thought, you could find that staying inside to watch TV isn't as enjoyable as you thought. Third, the frequency of showering is lower among the impoverished than the wealthy. At first, we disregarded this information as fiction, but it has since been proven accurate. Most people working today do so in the service sector, where interpersonal communication is essential to the interchange of goods and services. People who don't care about their own cleanliness will fall behind their peers in the long run. They are less trusted by the public. Their personal life is affected because people avoid them. Who would want to be in your company if they disliked you and didn't want to be around you? If that's the case, you won't be able to find very good business partners. Even though it might sound ludicrous, the first thing that you should do to set yourself up for success is take a shower first thing in the morning. Fourth, those in poverty often put the responsibility for their problems on other people. How many of the individuals you know provide some type of explanation for their lack of success or point the finger at outside influences? Although we can't always influence the outcomes of our circumstances, you are ultimately responsible for 99% of your life. Always keep in mind that you are the one who decides what happens in your life, how your relationships develop, and how well you take care of your body. If you'd like to see a change in these, you need to take action. A person's response to adversity is more important than the adversity itself. When something awful happens, the impoverished prefer to make themselves victims instead of turning to others for help, whereas the wealthy investigate and examine the situation. They look for answers to questions about what occurred, why it occurred, and how they may safeguard themselves from such situations in the future. One takes on the role of defenseless victim, while the other makes use of it as a springboard for development. Fifth, the difference between the rich and the poor is that the poor tend to get out of bed and start their days much later. At the outset of their lives, the poor are frequently lazier than the wealthy. It's true that the preceding remark will irritate some of you much, but the data speak for themselves. If a person spends their childhood working to better themselves, they drastically reduce the likelihood that they will end up living in poverty later in life. Instead, if you sleep in, neglect your education, and spend time doing pointless things, you will eventually fall so far behind in your goals and that you will be unhappy. People who don't prioritize development in their formative years are doomed to a life of grinding effort with diminishing returns as they struggle to maintain their current standard of living. 6. The impoverished often make frivolous purchases using credit cards or pay interest on loans they don't need. How people of different socioeconomic backgrounds use credit is a key indicator of their relative wealth. The principle is straightforward. Don't get yourself into debt by taking out a loan to acquire anything that won't make you extra money throughout the course of the loan's repayment. It really is that easy. You shouldn't utilize credit unless you're going to put the money you get from it into an investment. 7th, poor individuals typically have more children and younger marriages. Children are in fact extremely expensive. Creating them, or even just trying to create them, is a lot of fun. However, people become confused at this moment and doubt its reality. To put this into perspective for you, the average expense of raising a child in one of the more industrialized countries is close to $250,000. Due to a lack of knowledge, a poor environment, and a number of other reasons, poor individuals have more children and do so at a relatively young age than wealthier ones. The wealthy wait a few years for their living standards to rise before providing their children with the ideal surroundings and settings for success. The less fortunate simply do it. After giving birth, parents have an uphill battle merely to make ends meet, and moving beyond that point is extremely difficult. 8th, no one in poverty has any savings. The impoverished are different from the wealthy in that they don't plan for the future. Saving money enables development. Imagine if something terrible occurs to you. If you have money saved up, the issue will be resolved, and you will be able to continue living your life as normal. If you don't, the problem will get very serious very quickly. Where do you go from here? You can either sell a valuable item, such as your home, car, etc. Alternatively, you might get a loan. When things settle down, the wealthy are left in the same circumstances as before, but without their savings. Poor people, however, have either seen a significant reduction in their standard of living or now owe money to creditors. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I truly appreciate it. Click the subscribe button down below if you wish to transition from the life you have right now to the life you truly desire.